So we are all coming from a different Brahmacari communities where there is 10 devotees, 15, 80, 170, and there is 300 Brahmacharis. So from this itself we can see that the need of that Brahmacari ashram will be varying. So before entering into the topic itself, so we are going to take a specific aspect of devotee care, that is Brahmacari ashram. So I will just go through what we will be discussing today. So from the devotee, how many of you attended devotee care seminar? You only attended. Any of you attended devotee care seminars? You attended. Okay. So from ISKCON strategic development team, they have made a committee or a team where they are working on the devotee care aspect of ISKCON in general. And they have made a nice handbook and they have a systematic courses, and that is already happening for last couple of years. So here we are going to speak specifically on Brahmacari Ashram perspective. So today we will be going through devotee care. So from that course manual we will discuss what is the mission, and who are the recipient of that devotee care, and what are the areas. And then our focus, Brahmacari Ashram. Who are within the Brahmacari Ashram, what is the recipient, who are the recipients, what are the areas we would like to focus on that. And while going through the points, we will be taking the examples what we experienced in ISKCON Chowpatty. So there is a disclaimer that what we are going to present is not in absolute in its terms. It is relative to what we experienced, and based on the devotee care manual and everything we are trying to present it. We can say that it is more from practice to theory. Generally we have our classes, from theory is there, then we practice it. So here the practice is already been happening for a couple of years. So from that we are trying to put up this documentation. So there was a lot of devotees involved in that. It is not that only both of us are making this presentation. Like senior devotees like Radha Gobinath Prabhu, Risik Raman Prabhu, and Rudranath Prabhu, Nantadulal Prabhu. Some of these devotees were working so deep into this that they could come up with such a nice presentation. So we are just sharing our experience with all of you on this. And we are also here to learn from all of you. So when we are going through each issues or each areas of concerns, you can also share what is your experience in your ashram on that. So the devotee care vision. So every devotee is spiritually happy and materially well situated, positively identifying with ISKCON as a caring society. So this is as it is from ISKCON devotee care manual. So if you want to practice bhakti in a nice way, so spiritually he should be happy, as well as materially also he should be situated properly. If there is any material discomfort in your back of your mind, then you will not be able to perform your sadhana properly. And then the devotee should also look up to ISKCON as a society, as a caring. It's not that they are only extracting services from us. So as a caring body we should be seeing. And then each devotee should be responsibly looks after his or her diverse needs, can easily and successfully seek qualified help within the society, wholeheartedly extend that care to others. Now here 3 points. One is, the first two are related to oneself. We need to ensure that we are getting adequate care. What is that care? We will on the go, we will see that. In case if you feel that there is a lack of that care, we are not able to fulfill that care needs, then we need to extend it. We should be open to take guidance from somebody else within the society. That is the second point. And once we thorough with our care, we are satisfied with whatever care we are receiving it. And the third and most important point is that we need to extend it to others. Okay, it's like Janma Sarthaka Karo Para Upakar. So care is also like that. I will do that. Okay, the devotee care mission. This is also again from the devotee care manual, that we strive to ensure that the Vaishnava virtue of care pervades all aspects of this ISKCON society. support and provide specific care services that enhance the spiritual, emotional, physical and social well-being of all ISKCON members. So this is generic statement. But here the second, spiritual, emotional, physical and social well-being of all ISKCON members. So here the Brahmacharis also have these feelings. So we will be today focusing on how in a Brahmacari Ashram setup we can extend this care about spiritual, emotional, physical and social on the platforms or these areas. So next is about what are the and who are the recipients of the care. So devotee care the committee, they have identified almost 12 recipients. Like you can see the list, like a woman, cows, brahmanas, children, youth, the elderly, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, other temple residents, leaders, senior devotees. These are the 12 people who are qualified to receive care from the institute. So here we are focusing only on the highlighted one, the brahmachari communities. Okay, so here again within the brahmachari community, when you say the brahmachari, so now we will be using Brahmacari Ashram, the word. When we say that Brahmacari Ashram, the entire ashram of that particular temple. So the Brahmacari Ashram, there are two candidates we can look at it. One is a resident Brahmachari, which is full-time Brahmacharis, and then there is those in transition toward married life, means Grihasthashram. There is again short-term and long-term. What is short-term? Means some people come to the Brahmacari Ashram with a very clear understanding that I need a training. I will be here for 1 year, 2 years or 3 years max. After that, I need to move on to my next phase of life, Grihasthashram. They are very clear about it. And it is very pretty easy to give them whatever they need and now to deal with them is also easy. But the second case, the long term, is their intention is to continue as a Brahmachari. They join the ashram, they come to the ashram with an intention that I would like to continue as a Brahmachari. But during the course of the stay in the Brahmacari Ashram, they realize that it will be better for me to move on to the Grihastha Ashram. That will be helpful for my Krishna consciousness. So there more challenges are there. Because depending on the psychophysical nature of that person, he is going through a lot of confusions. Some of you are familiar with some of the colleagues in your Brahmacari Ashram residents who have moved on to the Grihastha Ashram. So if you just remember what was their mental framework, they lose the sanity of their head, lot of confusion. There is no problem with that, because in Madhurya Kadambini, Vishwanath Thakur says that in Anishtita Bhajana Kriya, one of the symptoms is Vyuta Vikalpa. Should I be a Brahmachari? Should I be a Grihastha? Brahmachari is fast track. On the other hand, Shastra also says Grihastha Ashram is very stable. Should I take this? Go to that ashram? So there is a lot of confusions are there. That is having a good sanity for your head. And then sanctity of the heart. You can be very sure, the purity inside the heart that yes, I tried my best. Now I think I would like to go forward in my ashram. That is a need of that person. You cannot force anyone against their will that no, you have to be in the Brahmacari Ashram. So that need can come maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. We have seen, even after 18, 20 years staying in the ashram, at the age of around 46, 47, people are moving out of the ashram. That's also possible. And the sensitivity. Because the relationship when a person has the disturbance when in your head the various things are going on, your relationship within the fellow inmates of the ashram go for a toss. So protecting that relationship, it is better that we move on to the next phase of the life. We need to keep that sensitivity with us. Okay. And finally, the security. Because sometimes people feel, what will happen next? Will the institution kick me off? I am not able to do much services. They hear some news from here and there, the devotee, because there may be reasons that some brahmachari may not be following proper standards of the ashram or not following the culture of the ashram, the management may ask them to move out. So then fear is created in the rest of the brahmacharis that will I be the next one? There is a security insecure. So they need a proper security at back of their mind. So they need a place to rest. They need a source of income. They need some certain level of comfort and all those things. So that security also is a need. So these 4 reasons are the main contributors why a person moves from the Brahmacari Ashram to the Grihastha Ashram after a prolonged stay in the Brahmacari Ashram. Okay. So now we will go into the next slide, which is about what is actually care. So care is a simple word, but that care has different aspect of it. As we are showing here, virtue and system. Both have its own specific natures. So care as a virtue is a Vaishnava quality, like affection, kindness, sympathy. We can say Vaishnava quality like amanitam, adambitam, ahimsa, all those qualities we can say that is a virtue, is a quality. It's an inbuilt. You are born with some qualities for caring. And another is care as a conduct or as a dharma, or it is my duty to care. So that comes like responsibility, protection, safety. So you are an administrator, but you give the care. Okay. So both these things together, it became actually care. So it is both are complementary to each other. It is not competitive. It is not competing with each other. These two qualities. How do we understand it is a better way? See, we all coming with a lot of affection from our parents, right? In parental affection also there is 2 components, right? One is motherly affection, another is fatherly affections. So here we can say that the motherly affection is the virtue component. She is always very soft with us. The fatherly affection is more on a system level. He is very strict with us. So for a child to grow in a wholesome manner, he needs both the cares. Both the aspect is there. If one is missing, then in the future, somewhere you will feel that lack. Many times we hear from the seniors that when a good brahmachari comes from a family where he got both the fatherly, motherly affection, the family has nicely nurtured that person. If he is lacking something, then somewhere that the lagging is there in the mind. It will come out at one point of time in your life. So anytime if you have any questions, we can raise and clarify that. Okay. So, how do we really understand in an ashram, Brahmacari ashram, there is a proper care system is in place? Huh? Yeah. So anyone would like to give some answers? How do you know that in our ashram the care is there, it is perfect? No, we have been taken care completely. How do we know that?
Like one of the aspects of care is physical care. We generally consider, because we are on a body level, so we consider that only. So in our ashram we have a person assigned only for taking care of whose only service is this health department.
Health department.
Yeah. He is having all the medicines. He has all the contacts of the doctors. He has a 2-3 devotee team also with him, who go and assist whenever somebody is in hospital, somebody is having any food need, somebody has some special needs, so he take care of that.
Yes, very good. So physical care has been given. Yes.
So the question was how we understand there is a care.
Yeah.
So
what is the characteristic of an ashram where proper care has been given?
So there are like more devotees and happy devotees.
Okay, the devotees are happy. If a devotee doesn't get an iPhone, he is unhappy. That means there is no care. Mentoring system. Yeah. Means that is what he spoke about physical, now you are speaking about the emotional needs. Okay, good. So, we can see that a Brahmacari ashram which is properly taken care, the culture of respect, love and trust among each other and loyalty to Guru Parampara permeates every aspect of that ashram. We can see the culture of that ashram. Second point is sincere and serious sadhakas with commitment to perfecting their lives come together and inspire each other to perform hearing and chanting. And third is inspiration, that all devotees have inspiration and are eager to utilize their energy and abilities to serve the glorious mission of Srila Prabhupada in the spirit of servant of the servant. So the culture. So when you go to certain temples, we can see that certain devotees, that when you see a senior person, they immediately offer dandavats. When a Prabhupada disciple comes or a sannyasi comes, these are the symptoms. You can see that it's a culture of that place. So we will not be able to identify, by a questionnaire or something like that, but by the actions we can see that what is the culture of this place. Immediately they offer dandavats. In Mayapur also we can see that there are many devotees, senior devotees offer dandavats. Some people are standing, some people are offering dandavats. So that we can see from that. That is just an example. Another is commitment. We can see that the life of many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, like Brahmanand Prabhu, Prabhupada told, go to Pakistan. He went. Go to Africa. Why? Because Prabhupada has given a lot of love and care to that person. They like to reciprocate with him. So wherever there is care and love is there, the commitment is a reciprocation to that. And the third is the inspiration. Now just we came before those who seen that Kavichandra Maharaj, it's practically almost maybe 70 plus. Yesterday we saw in the plenary session of Vaisheshika Prabhu. He is also 70 plus, I believe. They are still enthusiastic to go out and do big distribution. See that inspiration level, because they have commitment, they have the culture given by Prabhupada, that commitment, they are still enthusiastic. We want to please our Guru Maharaj. So that commitment and inspiration we can see in that devotees. Just like we say that Phalena Parichayat. Phalena Parichayat. You just take a rice from the pot and you can just by touching that we can see that whether it is cooked or not. So similarly, we can see an ashram, if you take one or two people, how do they behave, that actually shows a general character of that particular ashram. That. So this is a symptom of a properly cared ashram, or where there is a proper care facility is being implemented. We can say that. So what are the areas where the care need to be, the caring has to be given? So it's like, it's not a hard and fast, only 5 areas. It depends. We just sorted out in our own understanding way. How do we put it? There can be multiple areas of doing. So in devotee care manual, you can see there are 12 areas where care need to be extended. What is the focus of area? So here we are focusing as a Brahmacari Ashram, the Sadachar, which is a culture, Sangha means basically Sadhu Sangha, then Sadhana, Seva. Seva has 2 aspects. One is Seva to Brahmacharis and Seva by the Brahmacharis to the institution. Then Sanghadhan. Sanghadhan means the organizational hierarchies and levels. How do we organize the things? So these are the 5 areas where the care element has to be permeating. So by taking care of these 5 dimensions of the care, we can say that holistically we can deal with the care of that particular aspect, ashram. The first one is Sadachar. So Sadachar, what is Sadachar means? To facilitate and cultivate an enriching culture of Vaishnava Sadachar in the ashram. What does that mean? Like we have a refined interpersonal dealings, there is a community and family spirit within the ashram. Discipline and accountability is there. Sattvic lifestyle is there. Empathy and non-judgmentalism is there. There can be many other characteristics we can enlist. These are the few typical characters we can look forward for that. So what is culture basically? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was teaching to Sanatana Goswami, he said that Maryada Palana Hoi Sadhura Bhushana. He was telling Sanatana Goswami that Vaishnava etiquette is an ornament of a Vaishnava. So the achar, satachar is very important for a Vaishnava. So does that mean that it just remain an ornament? What does an ornament, where does the ornament seen? It is an external thing, right? You only see an ornament externally. So thus the Vaishnava etiquette means that you need to be externally wearing these Vaishnava etiquettes or the satachar. No. You can know a Vaishnava by his deep, understanding of the Vaishnava philosophy, which reflect in each of his actions and deeds. How does that Vaishnava behaves? So every dealing and activities of a Vaishnava who is properly trained in satachar will exhibit that in each and every dealing of that Vaishnava. How does he deal with each other devotees? Whether it is ashram inmates or other community members, grihasthas or whatever may be. So how do we inculcate this culture? How do we impart this satachar to our brahmachari? So this is a care aspect. When we are caring for the Brahmacari Ashram, we need to give them this satachar. So there are three ways. One is education, personal examples, and continual efforts. So in education, we can say that philosophy, Shastric studies are there, like Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, so many classes are there. Then transformational Brahmachari classes. So what is the difference between the two? So in Bhakti, we can say that when we say that we understand certain things, actually the understanding should lead to transformations. Otherwise, most of the time, our studies and our hearing is lead to only information. There is not character transformation. Right? In the Bhagavatam, when Balram was going for pilgrimage, he met Ramakrishna Sudha was ready to give the class. Rusher Bhagavado Bhutva Shishyaditi Bahunija Say Idhyasa Puranani Sarva Shastrani Sarvasha. He was a very highly qualified person. At that point of time, if somebody is telling that I am a disciple of Vasudev, everybody will offer dandavats, and he is a very highly qualified person. And he knows all the Shastras and everything. But what was the problem? Well, Balram identified Adandasya Avinitasya Vritha Pandidamanina. Adandasya, there was no sense control. Avinitasya, he was not humble. Na gunaya bhavandyasma bhajat nadasyeva ajitatmana. So, by our Shastric education, that doesn't bring out the character transformation. If it doesn't bring good qualities in us, it is just like a dialogue by an actor. So that is the difference between philosophy and transformation. So we have specific brahmachari classes. So that is a specific example of Brahmacari Ashram in the Chopati, that we have regular Brahmachari classes where we teaches them about the specific satachar aspect, taking examples from various shastras and other things. We can speak about the personal examples like Shastri characters.
Yeah, even like we can see from Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are so many examples where interpersonal dealings, they show how sadachar is very important in Vaishnava culture. Like we have the example of Govinda. He was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and when once he used to massage Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Once it so happened that after the kirtan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had prasadam and then he was resting. But then he was blocking the door. And so Govinda requested a few times to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, please move, I want to come inside and massage you. But then he said, no, you can, I am so tired, I cannot move my body. But then after some time, Govinda came inside and he started massaging Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, but when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after a long time when he woke up, then he saw that, Govinda is still sitting inside, and he asked him, what about, did you have prasad? Because after serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was supposed to take prasad. But he said, no, you were lying down, so I could not cross and go. So by this we can see this example. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, how did you come inside to give me massage? He said, for service I could, for a higher service to my master, I could break a smaller regulation. But for my own self, he was not ready for having prasad. So like that we can see there are so many examples. Privrat Maharaj also. He was getting multiple different guidance from his authorities. And then it became difficult. So like that.
Right? Do you get conflicting instruction from different authorities while in the ashram?
So like that we can see. So there are many examples. So it's very important that once there is clarity in the mind of people, devotees with education. So with Shastric examples we can understand, and that is one of the goals of providing good care to brahmacharis. Yeah.
And then we have acharyas. Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami, all the Shat Goswamis we can take, and then their followers, their life, how they were dealing with each other, how they were living. These are vividly explained, and I don't need to go into the details how we should imbibe that qualities from them. So that's why education is most important for culture. So if you see you may be wondering what is the connection between culture and education, right? How did India's culture changed from a Vedic tradition to the present, whatever it is there? How? What is the main cause? Yes.
Yeah.
The British educational systems. The Macaulay only told one thing: you need to change their educational habits. So similarly, when a brahmachari is coming to the ashram, if you want to change, it may be slow, but definitely it will change. Even politically in India also, like how does Marxism spread? If you go back to history, if you see that in 1970s when the Indira Gandhi government was there, so they had lack of majority. So they had taken support of these communist parties. They only asked one department we need, one ministry. They didn't ask for industrial ministry because their core is what? Labor and other things. But they never took any industry or corporate affairs or anything. They told we need only one education department. From there, they started creating a new narrative for India, which completely inflated with all these Marxist ideas and all those things. We are still suffering from all those things. So as a brahmachari, so here again a case study of how the Chowpatty Ashram handled it. So initially we saw that, it was a small ashram, so brahmacharis could come anytime. Some people come, I would like to be an ashram inmate. Oh, please come. We given a cupboard, he was a part of it. And then we could see that there is a lot of problems coming up with that. There is no background checking or anything. Then we told that, okay, you need to come to the ashram, then somebody has to recommend you for the Brahmacari Ashram. Then after that, we saw that again, every month there is few people coming. The training become difficult. Where do you start? So then we told, okay, we will have a systematic entry programs. That's where we started a Vaishnava training academy within the temple, where we say that if anybody want to join ashram, Gaur Purnima is the day. You come on Gaur Purnima day, for next 1 year you will have a training programs, Vaishnava Satachar, Vaishnava etiquette, so many things we will teach you, Bhakti Shastri and other things. And then you can also observe, we can also observe you. That was the initial period. So, and then we started our, the basis and other things in and around for the preaching aspect. And we made a mandate that before coming to Vaishnava Ashram, Vaishnava VTA, Vaishnava Training Academy, you need to spend at least 1 year outside. And after coming to Vaishnava Training Academy also, you need to work. While staying in the temple, you go out and work for 1 year. You would like to know that whether you are coming to the ashram because they didn't got any job, you are, just don't want to do anything outside, that's why you are coming inside. So 1 year job, taking care of your family responsibilities, settling security aspect and all those things. Then after that, as a evolutionary process, we started with the Brahmacari training, also added. After Vaishnava training, then is another 1 year of Brahmacari training. After that, they used to join the Brahmacari Ashram. And then, After some time, again we felt that brahmacharis are not sufficiently spending time in studying, understanding the Shastra. So then we introduced the Vidyapit classes where in 2 years they only study Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita complete study. And even after doing all these process and other things, still we've come up with issues. So it is an ongoing process of how do we teach the people, how do we train up the people. So we can say that, as we are, as you say that it is very difficult to train an old, it's already something is there. But only thing is, you create a new perspectives in the ashram. When you add a new people, new elements in the ashram, you make stricter sadhana standards and other things. Naturally, these people will be cornered. That will come in the next coming topics. That will come. How do you take care of the person who is 15 years but who is not able to follow? In one way, it is the responsibility of the ashram. We didn't give him that, imparted him that particular aspect of education.
In fact, I remember when this Vaishnav, Vidyapit studies started, so then the offer was also given to ashram inmates who are interested to come and study for 2 years. So then they were given some concession in their services, and that was also accommodated. So facility is there.
There is two things. One is that 15-year fellow didn't got a chance to do it, but he is still eager. Second is he don't want to go into that. Second is very difficult to handle. But the first one, we can always facilitate it. So the education is very key aspect in that, of bringing the sadachar, the culture. So we'll go to the second topic. So we can see also here in Mayapur, Prabhupada disciples, how they are dealing with each other, senior devotees. So these are the things where we can imbibe all these qualities. So that's why Sadhu Sangha becomes the second point. That we can, through Sadhu Sangha, we can see how does these great Vaishnavas deal with each other. So what is Sadhu Sangha? To facilitate brahmacharis to develop great love, trust and personal friendship with one another, and also receive association and guidance of advanced devotees. Okay. Means to nurture and sustain inspiration with the Guru Varga, means like Prabhupada disciples, sannyasis, senior brahmacharis and grihasthas, bonding and love exchange among the brahmacharis, and bonding and loving exchange with grihasthas. There is 3 levels of Sadhu Sangha. So we heard the word Sadhu Sangha quite often, right? But we also need to look at what is Sadhu Sangha. So there are 2 words, Sadhu and Sangha. Sangha. Sangha means, Sangha doesn't mean that you are, just like we are in a Sangha, we are all sitting together. Here, when we speak about Sadhu Sangha, it is very specific. Sangha means Sa-anga. We are becoming part of the other, the body, is Anka of a body, that Vaishnava. Where, there is an intimate exchanges between the 2 devotees. What type of things? Like to assimilate the spotless character of a genuine sadhu. So there should be a focused endeavor in a sadhu sangha to assimilate what are the good qualities of that Vaishnava. Otherwise, Prabhupada gives an example. If you just see the proximity, mosquitoes are more closer to me than any one of you. Does that count as a sadhu sangha? The focus should be on transformation in a sadhu sangha. It is not collecting some informations. So if you come from a science background, you can see there is a process known as osmosis. We have this bottled water, RO water, we call it. So what has happened in an osmosis? There is a high concentration liquid and a low concentration liquid is there. So it is a natural flow of the concentration to the other side. It's an effortless process. So in a sadhu sangha, actually we can get or imbibe this spotless character of that Vaishnavas. How do we develop that in our personal life? And then the second aspect of it, who is a sadhu? Who is a sadhu? Any suggestions? When you say sadhu, or when you hear the word sadhu, what does it comes to your mind?
What I understand is the sadhu is one who is very much following Guru Sadhu Shastras. Basically, he is very much following the Acharyas and Guru Varga. Like that. So he is a sadhu.
Okay. How does he appear generally?
appears means he may appear different ways, but he's focused. He's focused on his Krishna consciousness.
Kapil Muni says in Bhagavatam, Titiksha, Karunika, Shrudha, Sarvadehina. So some qualities.
Yeah.
And then he says in the next to his mother, the best quality is like he's my Ananya Bhakta.
Ananya Bhakta.
So that is the highest quality. The scriptures yet to realize it.
That is one of the closest one. So, sadhus means they are the guardians of the path of bhakti. They are the protectors of devotion and they take us close to Krishna. And they have unflinching faith in devotion and unflinchingly they engage in devotional service, no matter whatever happens. So in the Bhagavatam there is a story of Ambarish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Right. Ambarish Maharaj was a Grahastha engaged in ruling the planet. He is a Grahastha. And he has a lot of properties and he is the king. So he has a lot of wealth and other things. And apparently Durvasa Muni was a sannyasi. He is ascetic. He has renounced all these worldly possessions. But Durvasa Muni got angry and he created the demon. The demon came to kill Ambarish Maharaj. What did Ambarish Maharaj do? What did Ambarish Maharaj do when the demon came to kill him? Yeah, he just stand there, folded his hand. If that is the will of the Lord, let it happen. He didn't run away. But from that, the Sudarshana Chakra came to kill the demon. After killing the demon, it started targeting Durvasa Muni. What did Durvasa Muni do? For what he was running? Because he is a renounced person. He is a Grahastha. He was ready to renounce anything. He is a Grahastha having lot of wealth and everything. He didn't move a bit. He was ready to face it. But Durvasa Muni, even though he is in the garb of a sadhu or a sannyasi, he renounced everything. He fled the place, trying to protect himself. So we can see that from that pastime itself, what is a sadhu? Sadhu is not about external things. So in Harinam Chintamani, Haridas Thakur say that the Tidiksha, Karanika, all those things are qualities of sadhu, but these are, sadhu has two, Sorupa Lakshana and Tadastha Lakshana. What is the Sorupa Lakshana? Krishnera Sharanam. Krishneka Sharanam hoy Sorupa Lakshana. Anya Gunera Gana Tadastha Lakshana. There are so many qualities you can speak about sadhus, but the primary and most important quality of a sadhu is unflinching dedication to Krishna or faith in Krishna. So that is what Sadhu Sangha means. So how do we facilitate that Sadhu Sangha? So in a Brahmacari Ashram, we need to facilitate this Sadhu Sangha. It is very much important. Why? Because in Sadhu Sangha only, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha. And our Bhakti develop or take birth in Sadhu Sangha. And even after getting Bhakti, it further nourishes through Sadhu Sangha only. So Sadhu Sangha can be facilitated by these three ways. The participation means by our own initiatives. Like retreat, yatras, camps and ILS. ILS is Sadhu Sangha. So this is a care. If you see the ISKCON as an institution, the GBC body is offering us care by facilitating this Sadhu Sangha through education. So this is a care element. So similarly, from the ashram perspective, we also need to ensure that the brahmacharis are getting sufficient, sadhu sangha. One of the ways is organizing retreats or arranging yatras, otherwise specific camps, various temples organizes camps, we can go and do that. So if you are not able to do that, you don't have the facility to do that, what you can do is, you can invite some senior people to your temple and get that sadhu sangha. Or invite some sannyasis, some senior devotees, like that. Other avenues as Like, doing personal service. Okay, you are not able to either participate in any of the yatras or retreats or anything, or you are not able to invite anybody into your area. So whenever there is a senior devotee or sannyasi coming, you can tell, okay, 1 month I will go and assist him. So to get a sadhu sangha. Even that is not possible. Now new facility of Zoom is available. Wherever you are, you can get connected with so many Zoom classes are going on. We can get connected. Even that is not possible. There is Shastrik Sangha. In an unavoidable cases, we can take benefit of what is Shastrik Sadhu Sangha means? Studying Srila Prabhupada books. When you are reading the book, you are actually associating with Prabhupada. So we need Shastriya Sangha also and personal Sangha also, Sadhu Sangha. So that makes our life more sustainable. So now the question comes is, how do you know we are having a proper Sadhu Sangha or not? Like we are now having Sadhu Sangha. Does it guarantee that we are getting actually Sadhu Sangha? It is just like taking a medicine. So you have a disease, you need to take a medicine. So one probable outcome is you have taken the medicine, but your disease is not yet gone. So what is the cause of it? There are two things. One is either the medicine is not proper. Second is you are not taken it in a proper prescribed manner. Okay, even Sadhu Sangha. So if you have a proper Sadhu Sangha, it increases your faith in the Shastras, and also it helps us to serve Guru and Vaishnavas in a better and more enthusiastic way. So a proper Sadhu Sangha guarantees us deepens our faith, and it also enhances our enthusiasm to render service. So in any forum you are not getting this, means there is a problem. The problem can be from our side, because we are not taking it sincerely, just like the medicine not taken in a prescribed manner. Another is, you are taking it sincerely, but it may not be a Sadhu Sangha. Because generally in the Brahmacari Ashram, what happens is we all come together and sit and discuss many things, and we feel it is a Sadhu Sangha. It need not be. Macchitta madgata prana bodhayantascha parasparam kadayantascha mam nityam tushyanti jaramanticha. Kadayantascha mam. Most of the time mam means we speak about ourselves or our fellow inmates gossiping, criticizing someone else. So that cannot be called as Sadhu Sangha. So Sadhu Sangha is a very important aspect of care, because that's where the devotee's bhakti actually nourishes. The nourishment comes from the Sadhu Sangha. So it is a very important aspect of Sadhu Sangha. The care. Okay, so we will go to the next item. So we have covered so far Sadachar, Sadhu Sangha, and the third one is the sadhana, which is another important aspect of it. So we are 145. Yeah. So sadhana means spiritual practices to facilitate devotees to individually and collectively evolve in their sadhana. Loyalty to Guru Parampara, protection from distractions, get further evolved in their understanding of the Shastra, happily perform devotional service for pleasure of Guru and Parampara. Okay. So in sadhana, one of the most important problem we face is distractions. Right? Everybody agrees that in our sadhana, the only problem we have is distraction from our sadhana. What is the most distracting item at present? Everybody has a mobile. We are carrying with us very close to our heart. It's a distraction. But it can all be also used in a positive way. So many times, in a Brahmacari Ashram, every day there is some issues, right? It's not that every day it is a peaceful atmosphere. The question is, which fight we need to pick up today? Which fight we need to face? That is the question that comes to our mind when in the ashram sometimes. So the distraction can come in the form of a conflict, or a comfort, or a matter of sense enjoyment. These are the three areas which can actually give distractions to us. Conflicts, comfort, and sense enjoyment. Sense gratification, you can say. And among these, the biggest distraction for a sadhaka is the conflict within the organization. When there is a conflict within the Brahmacari Ashram, what happens? I don't need to share with that. When two devotees have an issue, even third one also get disturbed. They will be also dragged into that. So when we are administrating the care, we need to ensure that these aspects have been taken care properly. There is no distraction. That is why the protection from distraction is very important aspect. Otherwise, if you don't take care of the distractions, what will happen? Distraction will slowly lead to the destruction of the ashram itself. It is not that now the conflict among two devotees are going to be contained within themselves. That slowly permeates into other members of the ashram. So when you are caring for the brahmacharis, you ensure that there is not such conflicts will be always be there. Some issues or here and there will be there. But how do we deal in a Vaishnava way? The first point. What was the first point? Sadachar. See, it is not that in a Vaishnava community there is no difference of opinion. There is difference of opinion. Now here in ILS also we can see so much of difference of opinion, different things are there. But what is the most important? How we deal with that difference of opinion, because we all are individuals. In somebody in ashram you need fan, somebody doesn't need a fan. Why did you switch on the fan? Or somebody needs a spicy food, somebody doesn't need a spicy food. So many, anything you take, you can have a conflict with someone else. But the main important aspect is, how do we deal with such conflicts in a Vaishnava way? The question is not who is right, who is wrong. That's where Sadachar brings in the element that how to deal with each conflicts, that makes that ashram more stable. So you see the temples, there are thriving temples are there. Does that mean that there is no conflicts? There is no issues? Yes, there are issues. Because when we are dealing with the material matter, always there will be some issues. Sadosham natyaje sarvarambahi doshena. Gita says that every activity you do, there is some dosha. Somebody will find some dosha. But in a Vaishnava way, how do we deal with that? That is important. So when we have a strong caring system in a ashram, that person will become very deep in his devotion. That protects him from all these type of distractions and other external things. A classic example is of Srila Haridas Thakur. And when Haridas Thakur, even the prostitute and the Maya personally came to distract him from his bhajan, from his sadhana. She couldn't do anything because he was very deep in his sadhana. So that is the aspect of a care. That we as a brahmacharis imbibe a strong and deep sadhana in our spiritual practices. It helps us to deflect all these distractions. So how do we make the sadhana stronger? How to practice it? You can. Okay.
Like in all our ISKCON temples, like the most important part of our sadhana is our morning program. Like Prabhupada has designed it in such a powerful way that just by being present in the temples for the morning program, for all the brahmacharis, this is very, very important. Like I know that even today also in Radha Raspberry temple, it's a rule that if you don't attend the morning program, then you don't get prasad. So, like that, even in our Radha Gopinath temple, like we have an attendance register. Earlier, it was that everybody, if you are not able to put your attendance 3 minutes before the conch blows, then you get mercy. That is, you have to write 108 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So like that. So with a strong morning program and association with devotees, just like being there in the Guru Puja, like in Mayapur also, if you were there. Yes.
Also for the senior brahmachari also.
Yeah. So that rule was there, and then of course slowly now after a few years now it has become little relaxed. So now for senior brahmacharis who have crossed the age of 50, and so there is concession that they may not be able to come for morning programs, or there is given. So that is another aspect of care. Like we people having some physical problems, health problems, like that. Yes.
In a caring, like what we told about mother and fatherly affection. So the younger ones need to be strongly rooted in. So some senior person, who has a lot of responsibilities, is not able to come for the morning program for a day or two, that you don't need to worry much about it. But a new person doesn't come, that becomes a serious concern. So the morning program for us.
Yeah. Nandulal, you would like to add something?
Yeah. So in the case of a senior person, we need to give them his space also. That is a care aspect, which will come in one of the items. It will come again. As you move, as the ashram average age goes high, you will deal with many issues. Age-related issues. So you cannot force a person against his physical nature sometimes, because he has committed, for 10-15 years he has strongly given his services to the temple. So at one point of time he is not able to come for the morning program. You cannot kick him out of the temple, or you cannot punish him. That is another side of the care.
This punishment is there for the others, like who are below 50.
Yeah.
Is there for them.
Those who are just joined the ashram, at least for 5 to 10 years, they are strictly followed in that.
So we have 3 levels of 0 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, and then 10 years and above. So like different rules are there. People like who go for preaching in the night. In Bombay, many of the programs happen in congregation programs late in the night, and then traveling back to the temple. So by 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, sometimes they come back to temple. So then they cannot be expected to come for the morning program. So like that. So different sections are there.
So that is also coming based on the experience. So initially we were very strict about it. At that point of time, like Chowpatty temple started in 1987. So the average brahmachari, the age of a brahmachari in the ashram at that point of time was around 20 years. 18, 23 brahmacharis, they were all there 80s and early 20s. The body could adjust all the extensions of your services. So till 90 we could do that. Till 2000 it was fine. And then 2003, 4, 5 we could see that effect on their health. Lack of sleep, lack of rest. So then the decision was changed that somebody is coming for 7 days a week, you are a program in the late night, then it is not humanly practical to get up early. Because in cities, in a village setting, again as I mentioned in the beginning, it is also very state specific. In a metro city, they comes from the office around 8 o'clock. Then your program start by 8:30, 9 o'clock only your programs only start. And by the time your program ends, it is 10:30, then the prasad, then the people come for question answer. By the time you come back to the temple is around 11:30, 12 or sometimes 1 o'clock. So that changes according to the time place, we have to modify those things. Pardon? No, morning program, we cannot have a separate morning program for those who are coming late. So again, sadhana, what does sadhana means? Because most of the time when we say sadhana means that morning program is our sadhana. Morning program is only one of the elements of sadhana. What is the definition of sadhana? Rupa Goswami says, Kritis sadhya bhavet sadhya. Right? How do you engage your senses and mind in the service of the Lord? In a regulated way. Say somebody is coming very punctual for your morning programs. Say 4:30 to 9 o'clock, he is there in the temple. And rest of the day, nobody knows what he does, where he is gone. Whereas another devotee, throughout the day, very hard working, doing services, taking a lot of responsibilities, but occasionally he became late in his morning program. So one person, is attending the whole morning program from 4:30 a.m. till 9 a.m. He is in the temple, very visible, loud chanting, nice chanting, hearing classes and everything. But rest of the day, you don't know what he is doing, where he is. No accountability. You cannot even ask him. I am there for the morning program. Our deal is done. But another brahmachari who is very sincere in his services, taking a lot of responsibility in the temple, the whole day is struggling for making the temple run, and at the end of the day, he become late, and next day morning he become little late. So how do you say that who is a better sadhaka here? Because what does sadhana leads to? Again, there is a symptoms. When you are a good sadhaka, your commitment and your taking responsibility also shows. Because in the morning program, while chanting, what you are asking? Engage me in your devotional service. But after your morning program, your temple commander comes to you, please can you do this service? No, I am busy. So it is a overall aspect of a person. So sadhana is not just a morning program. We coming to the point that don't just take the understanding that sadhana means the morning program. Sadhana is one of the part of the morning program. It is important. We should not neglect it. But if there is a need for some late night activities or something is there, then that person should be accounted for. That much concession has to be given to that person. So the next is seva. So Sadachar, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhana, and the fourth is Seva. Seva has two aspects to it. One is facilities and support systems. And second is appropriate service and engagements. So what is facilities and support system? To facilitate care for the brahmacharis in terms of meeting their basic needs and also supporting them in difficult times. So this is, from the management perspective, we are supporting how do we show our care to that devotee when it is in need. So the second aspect, we will come to the next slide. So that is like health care. A brahmachari needs a physical, emotional, mental, sanity is needed. So we need to help them so that they ensure that the AC is being provided properly there. Care, especially in the crisis, it can be personal, family, or it can be a financial thing. And care for senior brahmacharis. What now we are speaking, the point of discussion from we have just concluded, that senior brahmacharis need to be given some exemptions depending on their health and other activities on that, including prasad and all those things.
Like here we can see, means in our temple, like we created the Sevasthan facility to care of the health of the devotees. Then we also have the senior brahmachari care team to take care of the specific needs of diet and other maybe medicines and all to help with them. And then we also have this, even the prasadam to take care. Some devotees want to have prasadam only 2 times. Like in Mayapur, like most in the ashram, I think they are serving prasadam only 2 times. But in our temple, like then we were having 3 times prasadam, breakfast, lunch and dinner, like that. So all these elements have evolved over the years and now.
So these are the few elements of how we can do care for the brahmacharis. So each of the items can go for, we can discuss for at least an hour. So much of details is there. So we are sharing the principles that there should be adequate systems in the Brahmacari Ashram. From the ashram point of view, we have to extend to them. Then the second aspect is that what does a brahmachari do after getting so much of care? So he also need to contribute back to the institution, right? Because institution is giving me, caring me for so much, then I also have a moral obligation to do that. It is my responsibility to take care of the mission needs also. That's where to facilitate suitable service and preaching opportunities and an environment where devotees feel grateful and enthused to contribute to the mission of Srila Prabhupada. It means inculcating missionary spirit and service attitude, developing sense of contribution and belonging, training in skills, growth opportunities, sufficient challenges in seva or outreach. Because sometimes this is also care aspect. Why? In a big temple, you cannot have 10 temple presidents or 10 temple commanders. Where it is a small temple or a big temple, only those posts will be limited only. But then some people will suffocate it. Every time I have to go and take permission for this, that, I spent 20 years in the ashram. So then that is what they need a growth. So otherwise what they feel is like, a small fish in a big pond. They lost their identity. So they also need something to manage. They have that interest is there. So then you give them a small satellite center in a small area. You go and take care of this area, this village. There they will become a big fish in a small pond. They are happy. That actually take care of their emotional needs. So these also we need to consider while taking care of the brahmacharis. It's a very important aspect of it. You want to add something? No, we can. Yeah. So in Chopadi temple we have a specific department which is created, satellite center steering committee, which take care of the brahmacharis who are not getting fully engaged in the Chopadi ashram due to various reasons, but they have interest to take a lot of preaching initiatives and administrative initiatives. We give them an opportunity to go and set up new centers and we facilitate.
And the brahmachari also feels that I'm okay, happily I'm serving in the mission of Prabhupada. Like Prabhupada also, he used to give charge to various devotees, different places, so that they cannot also.
So how do we ensure that serving is, there is two things we needed. One is the will, which is like the heart. Another is the skill, which is the hand. We need both. So this training also we need to give it to the brahmacharis. Like service attitude, das abhiman. That, emotionally we should be seeing that as a servant of the servant we should be able to render the services. Abundant mindset. Sometimes, people have, there are two types of mindset. One is scarcity and another is the mindset of abundance. The people say, there may be nothing to feed you. If you go to some small centers, there may be only one person, but still his heart is so open that he will, Prabhuji, please come, I will make you khichdi, give me some half an hour. But if you go to some other big temple, they say, so time is over, shut, everything is closed. You come at 6 o'clock in the evening. Or we don't have time for now. So you need to be more open-hearted while encouraging the devotees, the brahmacharis, those who are given their life for the mission of Prabhupada, to accommodating that abundance, then that is hope-giving. You don't feel restricting. We should not always pull the reins back, keeping the controls with us. So there should be some liberty given to the people.
Like I remember one of our friends, he was serving in the ashram, in the kitchen, and the SBCT, the Senior Brahmacari Care Department, they wanted a cook because their cook had gone home on an emergency situation. So then this person who was taking charge of the kitchen, now he had to spare one member from his team. But then he was very happy. He said, "ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, हम manage करेंगे. I will provide." So like that, and then he was happy to serve.
So the next is Sangadan. Sangadan means Sangadana, which is the organizational alignment, what we need to do. To facilitate steady, sensitive, strategic and far-sighted organizational systems. Because how do we take care of the aforementioned 4 care areas? We will ensure that it is happening because we need a system in place. We need to have a proper strategic planning, succession planning, leadership and decision making, communication systems. Because if you don't have a proper planning or systems in place, it only remain care as a virtue. We would like to do care, but nothing works. So there should be a regular reviewing of these systems. So that become a part of the systems. So then the succession, the management, the synergy between the 3 levels of devotees. Gunadhikam, Mudam. Like if you have a senior person coming, how do you deal with him? Then there is a junior. You should be very compassionate to him. Along with the equals, you should be in a friendly way. We should dealing with them. And synergy between the managers and preachers. In many ashrams, somebody is a manager, somebody is a preacher. There is always a conflict. The priority whom to give. Or a temple service, who will do it? And then who will go out and preach? Who will make more devotees? So there should be a balanced approach for that. There is, for the lack of time, I am just running through it. Then we can take questions for that. So basically here we need to see that the people should get a complete picture. The purpose is that he should get the bigger picture in mind while we are dealing with the smaller issues. That is the essence of it. So how to preserve and propagate the mission of Prabhupada. So there is a mode, finding the enterprising spirit in the service to Srila Prabhupada. Even if somebody has like Prabhupada, Prabhupada, I would like to go to South Africa. One devotee, I don't remember the name. So he was saying that everybody has gone to various places. There is no area left. So he was searching the map. In his early days, he saw South Africa. He had gone and told the Prabhupada, I would like to go to South Africa and preach. So, okay, go, do it. And they established the center over there, like that. And then the method. It is not that we are all expert in ourselves in all these fields. So wherever we need expert guidance, we should be open to take it. And then creating a balance between the system-based and people-based approach. Certain things has to be system-based. As you grow organically, the systems will come in place. We need to be very clear. How do we are going to, like succession planning, strategic planning, those has to be there. But certain areas we need to be more personal oriented. Like when it comes to the health aspect, personal aspect of a devotee. So there we need to consider. There if somebody is feeling like hungry, Brahmacari, somehow he missed the prasad and he is coming, and Prabhuji, I am feeling hungry, time is over, nothing can be given. So there you cannot show the system, because system says only 3 times prasad is there or 5 times prasad. Beyond the prasad time we cannot give anything. Then there should be some flexibility that okay, you go and take in the gift shop, something is there, you buy it. So that type of freedom we need to be given to the people.
And also like here we can see through this ILS program itself, how succession planning means how the senior leaders are able to pass on the legacy to the coming, the next generation. So that is very important.
And one of the most important item in all those things is that we have all those things, but the effectiveness of all those things becomes relevant how you effectively communicate to the people. So for efficient services and healthy relationship, it is important that we minimize communication gaps, build alignment at all levels, ensure that members receive relevant message on a timely basis. So recently we were in another meeting. So there the issue is they are discussing hierarchically, everybody is missing the communication. Oh, that resolution is already there, and this resolution already passed by this body, that body. So decision has been taken, but it is not been communicated to the different levels. And it's not that communication, okay, after 10 years I am communicating. Does it make any sense? No. At timely we need to communicate. So these are very important aspects of the care. So these 5 aspects. So how do we facilitate these communications? One is way of Ishtagoshtis, like GBC. Many of the important aspects in the plenary sessions, they make that announcements. Okay, these are the major importance, and through mailers and other things. But Ishtagoshti is a more way where we can sit together and discuss things. And if Ishtagoshti people are not able to open up, then in Chowpatty temple we have started a system that Man Ki Baat. There is an email ID, you can send an email or you can box is there. Whatever issues you have, you don't need to write your name or anything. If I have a concern, it is not been addressed by anybody, you just drop it. The temple management will open the box and study if there is any merit in that case. It is not that you give criticism on a personal level to some devotee, that is not entertained. If there is a genuine concern, that management is taken care of that. And then sadhu sanghas like this, where we can actually do the communications in a proper and effective way. So how do we implement all these aspects? So you need a team of devotees who are enthusiastic about it. And there is a committee need to be in place which serve as an active observer on the development and pulse of the ashram with respect to the above mentioned areas. So what happens is, if you are in a management, you can understand that when there is an undercurrent in the ashram, sometimes it is not spoken in front of the leadership. Right? So there need to be a level of devotees who are completely mixing with all the ashram, and they can see the pulse, what is the problems they are feeling. If you ask in the open public, they may not reveal to you. And then take surveys and other things, all devotees' inputs are collected and process it, and then you also act as a think tank. You need to think ahead of the time, what we need next. Now the seasonal changes are there, something we need to do it. Now the yatra is coming, or the COVID, the pandemic. Some advanced planning is required at various levels of the ashram life. So that has to be provided. And then who can be in that committee? The members of the committee also has to be very selective. Hence, those who have a specific heart for that area service. And the care aspect has to be intrinsic in their life. What we saw about the virtue. There should be a heart of caring. And then there should be also ready to balance between the two, care as a virtue and a function or a system. If you are strict about one of the aspect, then you cannot you cannot deliver the care in a proper way. And also that devotee should be good sadhana. It should be in good standing conditions. And finally, you need to spare the time. If you don't have time, don't take them into the committees for the name's sake. So the last is, there are many challenges when we try to implement this care, because care can take different routes. Sometimes you can do our care, which will be like pampering a devotees. Sometimes people feel this is my right, like entitlement mentality. I deserve it. I spent 20 years. The management is not giving me anything. So there can be genuine cases, but this should not be the general mood of the person in an ashram. They should be very submissive and humble. Whatever is there, we can only present ourselves. Submission to the authorities. And the resistance to change. Generally, we are very uncomfortable when there is a new system comes in place. Then comparisons, balance between sensitivity and strictness. You cannot take either side. You need to balance it. You need a proper mind frame for that. And another important problem we can see that in a Brahmacari Ashram, the residence and workplace is almost practically the same. Everybody is 24 hours available. Anytime you will bump with a problem. Are Prabhuji, Ratko, means you go for prasad and somebody will catch you. Prabhuji, you are not done this. Or you are going for rest. That time he comes and he says something. So that is a concern. Scarcity mentality, what we already discussed, abundance and scarcity mentality. Sometimes solution to existing issues may create new issues. Like brahmacharis, you give rooms. From a dormitory, you give them the room. They are comfortable. They now some place to rest and all those things. So earlier the problem was there is no privacy, lot of disturbance. Now the disturbance is gone, but the person is not visible for the morning program. He is comfortable in his room, not participating in a temple, other festivals actively, like that. Local management buy the idea of care, because management also need to extend themselves to understand what is care, and they should also support the systems. And financial and other resources are major concerns for many temples, where they can, insurance lene ka hai, if you want to take insurance, there is a lot of financial commitments are there. That is a challenge for them. And facilitating transition, especially those who want to change from one ashram to Brahmacari Ashram to the Grihastha Ashram, this is a challenge. So there are many case studies we can present, but in 1 hour all those things cannot be presented. And this concludes the session. So we have discussed, initially we discussed about the devotee, what is the vision and the mission of the devotee care. And then we came to Brahmacari Ashram with the culture, the commitment and the inspiration. Where there is a proper care is in place, we can see an ashram with these 3 qualities. And then we discussed about the care having 2 facets. One is a virtue, another is a system oriented or a functional aspect of it. And then how do we administrate? We can have a major, on an overall perspective, we can have 5 areas where we can focus, which encompasses the entire care aspect. One is Satachar, then Sadhu Sangha, then Sadhana, then Seva, and then Sankatana organization. And then for executing this, we need a committee or a team of devotees who are enthusiastic about it. We also discussed what is the qualification needed to be part of that committee. And of course, there will be some challenges. Any endeavor you take, always there will be some challenge. We need to sort it out. Thank you all very much.